What's up guys, it's time for another FM virtual stadium tour, and today we are taking a look round St James's Park, which is the stadium, the home stadium for Newcastle Football Club. And just in the virtual tour part of it, we are starting with the old part of the stadium. Here it is. It's quite small compared to the rest, but you don't get to see that yet. You'll get to see it in a minute. The first fact about this stadium, the fact that I always say first, is that it was opened in 1888. But not how you would have thought. It was opened just as a field, basically, with some football pitch markings on it. And the only thing that really caused it to turn into a football stadium was when Newcastle United, which kind of adopted this field and used it as their home pitch, when they got big and when they first got into the top division of English football, that's when they finally decided, look, we probably have to put a stand here now so that some people can at least watch our football matches. And so they put in one small stand, and that was that. But popularity kept growing, more people kept wanting to come and watch them, and eventually it turned into, well, the whole stand was like this. But it was standing. It was before the Hillsborough disaster, before new stadium safety implementations were put in so that everybody could stand up, everybody could watch, and the stadium capacity was at around 60,000. But those disasters happened, seating was put in, and it was taken down to 30,000 then eventually, and they found that that wasn't enough seating again, Newcastle United, so they started to look into maybe building a new stadium, maybe expanding this one. They put in a few bids for areas around Newcastle where they could build new stadiums. They were all rejected, so the council said, look, we're not letting you build a new stadium, but what we will do is we'll let you expand the bit of your stadium that doesn't have a listed building behind it. And I'll explain that now. This smaller bit of the stadium, Newcastle aren't allowed to expand it because in real life, if you look at a top-down shot of the stadium, in real life there are very old, very prestigious buildings behind these stands which are listed, which means that they can't just go in and bulldoze them, knock them down, because the government will give them a huge fine or something, which means they can't build their stadium after all. And it meant that they couldn't expand this stadium, so they said, okay, to the council, we'll take your proposal and we'll build a new bit of our stadium, and we will build it really, really, really big. And that's this bit here that I've just whizzed through. It's really modern in real life. If you take a look at it, it's very impressive, and you can't help but think if the whole stadium was this size, how many fans would they be able to fit in it? And that takes me on to the overall capacity of the stadium, which is 52,000 seats, there or thereabouts. And I know that the away fans, when they come up to watch their team play Newcastle, the away fans actually sit right up in that top right hand corner of the big stadium, and there's all glass bits there, which means they can't fall off the edge, which is a little bit silly in this game that they just have it open like that, which means fans can walk off the edge, but they don't because they're not idiots. But anyway, that's my history of this stadium. They haven't really looked into expanding it in recent years because about 50,000 for a club that was flirting with relegation and actually went down to the Championship a few years ago, that's a little bit excessive for a Championship team having 50,000 seats. So, the only really update on this stadium that's happened in the past few years was that Newcastle renamed it to the Sports Direct Arena for a few years. That was so that they could get a bit more money in, they could buy an extra player, and all the fans were all really unhappy about it. And lots of TV shows made big facts about the fans being unhappy until they told them it means that you could get an extra player, at which point all their opinions changed and they were like, oh, it's alright then, I'm happy with that. But that all changed back again late last year when Newcastle got new sponsors, and they bought the naming rights for the stadium and said, look, we're going to win a lot of fans over if we just name it St James's Park again. So they named it St James's Park, and now all the fans are happy again because they're still getting money for their stadium name, and it's still called what they want it to be called. So I think their new sponsors from next season are going to be really, really happy about what's happened there. They'll get a lot of kudos from the fans. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I've shown you the stadium, I've given you a little bit of history. Please remember to check out our Facebook page and our Twitter account. We've even got a website now that I've just got up and running, so please don't be shy going and visiting those. Laters!